Alright, so I wanted to make this video going into all this. Um, I'm going to do a video every single week talking about my experience on male to female hormones. I just started literally 2 days before recording this video. I've shot this video once, but I'm re-recording it because I didn't like how that video turned out. So if I seem like kind of fast forwarding through some stuff or whatever, I want to go into all this. I just want to talk about the process of getting on this stuff and what I went through, and then next week we'll do like a full. Here's my first week on it, and we'll do that week to week. Mostly because a lot of professionals will tell you it's very important that you document what you're experiencing, and I have been really feeling the need to document it. So, um, if you saw my video about coming out as trans on my main channel, if you haven't, check that out. I had a lot of context to this. Basically, I'd known for a long time that I was this way. I didn't really know a lot about trans people for a long time because it was forbidden. And once I got into my 20s, I was able to start learning more and feel more comfortable and understanding a lot of that stuff. And it was really just nice to learn about those things. And one of my biggest fears I mentioned in that video about coming out is like, can I start hormones? Can I get on medication to do this? Because number one, I live with family that aren't the most supportive, right? I don't want to go too much into that, but that's true. And that makes it difficult, for one. I am not in a position where I can move out and be by myself. And also, why would I want to live by myself when I'm going through something very difficult, right? So that is something that was a really big factor in me waiting to come out. And then I finally did come out, like last September, October, somewhere in there. And so I knew that last year I wanted to be out by the end of the year. One thing I did learn, this is a great resource for any of you trans men, trans girls out there. ChatGPT. I know there's a lot of anti-AI people, but really this is a great tool, honestly, because what I use ChatGPT for is like, there were days where I wasn't feeling feminine enough. And I would throw a picture of myself, like an older one or a newer one, in the AI, say, hey, make it more feminine. Just to kind of see an idea of what I would look like. And these ideas of what I look like made me happier seeing that, and made me realize, oh, I do want to be like that. Now, it's never going to be perfect like AI, because AI is going to always correct things, and if you don't give it enough details, it will kind of make things that aren't really possible for you. But like, it also made me go, okay, I want to look like that. How do I look like that? Oh, makeup, things like that, and you learn that kind of stuff. So things like that. I also would ask it questions about the hormones and be like, how do I get on them? What are the laws with it in my state? Yada, yada, yada. I just asked it a lot of questions. And that was the easiest way to do research, because yes, you can read articles about it. Yes, you can watch YouTubers explain all this, but the AI being able to summarize it, put it in the easy stuff. One of the coolest things I made is I had AI make me a timeline of what the hormones are going to do. But I had it make me that in visual form, starting from the 3-month period to the 6-month period to the 12-month period to a year to 2 to 5 years, just all, and break down what it does within that time. And it was amazing, because now I can show that to other people who don't know what it does, and I'm showing them, hey, this is what I'm going through, and it will show them, okay, this is what's going to happen, this is what you're going to see. Also, I can refer back to that image and that I have saved in my phone and go, okay, I'm going to see this, right? And so it's a great tool, I think, if you're going through anything like this, because it will help you. And then even right now, it's helping me, because I just started the hormones on Friday, and I was literally asked. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna be a little audience in this video, so some of you, a little more than some people, just be aware. I was literally like, hey, I'm feeling soreness in my dick. Is that normal? Which I assumed it was, right? which I kind of expected, but I asked it and it was like, yes, that's normal. Don't be worried about it, right? Things like that. You could just ask it questions that are normal, and that way you don't have to freak out like, should I call my doctor, right? Uh, and then you can, and then like things like that. I've been like asking all these questions, so now I have all these questions I'm asking it, and it's made a lot of it a lot easier. Let me start with the process to get on it. One of the hardest. So I live in California, so it's pretty easy since I'm legally an adult, right? I can get on it, and um, so what I did is immediately when I found out that I could get my hormone meds taken care of with Medi-Cal for free, I immediately looked up with ChatGPT what places took it. I called a place called Planned Parenthood. There's multiple locations in the state, but there was one in my town. Called them, and they literally were amazing because they literally one of the first questions they asked me, "What is your preferred name?" Because now I will state I have not legally changed my name just because it's legally difficult, and I don't, I gotta do it at some point. But it is legally difficult, so I haven't done it yet. But so it was just nice, like that be the first question they ask because you're like, oh wow, you're already really supportive. Uh, so then I went to this appointment, and unfortunately, because I was on my parents' insurance, they wouldn't let me be seen. So I had to get on my own insurance, which has been a really scary thing for me this year because what I worry about is like if I run into any financial issues or problems, I'm on my own and they can't really help me. But it's like that independence is really something that I really am enjoying. If you're a trans person, by the way, having your own independence to make your own decisions with your own stuff is something that you're really gonna have to learn because you may even have a nicer family than mine that does support you, but they won't fully understand, and so a lot of the decisions you're gonna have to be making for yourself, and being able to advocate for yourself and do what you need to do is one of the most important things you can do as a trans individual, whether you're male to female or female to male. It doesn't really matter. You really are gonna have to advocate. So I had to wait for my insurance with my parents to expire in December. I literally went down there 3 times last year just trying to be seen, and I couldn't get seen till this year. So I was able to finally be seen, and um, I think the appointment was great. I was so nervous, by the way, with this appointment that they like took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was high because like because of course it was. This is like a big change in my life that I was very excited about, but it's very easy to be very nervous because I'm not really sure which way it's gonna go, right? So I was very excited about that, but also very cautious. And so they had to retake my blood pressure, make sure it was normal. And yeah, it was normal. Because once the doctor started explaining stuff and talking to me, the nurses and stuff, everything cooled. Uh, so then and what I really like in California, I think it's different in some states. I didn't have to sit there and prove I'm trans. Like I literally told them, this is what I want. They were like, okay. And then after the nurse, unfortunately, I didn't see the doctor in person, which I think it's shitty because I feel like you should have to see a doctor in person before you do this. But at the same time, he was very thorough on the phone with me about everything. So it's not like I was missing any context or information. I just feel like it's a little bit better to see him in person, but he was busy, so he couldn't be seen. So I just took the appointment over the phone. And he goes, "What's your goals?" I'm like, "I want as much feminization as possible." Blah 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 blah. And then he gave you, and also you signed a little NDA saying there's a big myth with trans people. I'm sure anyone who is trans or thinking about trans knows this. The big myth about being trans is that they don't tell you what they do to you with these medications. That is absolutely wrong. You do know exactly what it does. I have paperwork over here that I have saved just in case I ever need to look through it again. But I also signed agreeing to it. And so, for me, it was pretty easy because I didn't have to ask the doctor a lot of questions, but he was very open to asking questions. Because for me, like I'd done so much research, I had spent so much time in the closet that I had basically known a lot of this information and was ready for it to start. And so I had this appointment Thursday midday. By next day, my medications were ready. I went to go pick them up, and that was great. So it was not that difficult living in a blue state to get on these meds. I understand that it is harder in a red state, and I'm really sorry if you have to go through that. I think if you have the ability to leave a red state, you should. There is no protections for you there anymore. And so do what you can, but it is really sad. But I will say one of my biggest fears that guided me towards getting on these hormones as soon as I did, and I don't want to scare people, but it is the fear that the government will take away what I wanted to do. Right? Eventually, I could wake up and hormones be banned, and I didn't even get on them, and that'd be very devastating, and that'd be very heartbreaking. And so I wanted to take a stand for me, and so I think doing what I'm doing does take a lot of courage, and just you need to work on yourself for this. Also, what I recommend is go to a therapist before any of this, because while in my state I didn't have to sit there and prove that I was trans. I didn't even tell them I saw a therapist, right? I didn't have to sit there and prove any of that, but I also recognize that seeing the therapist helped me realize is what I really want to do. Because one of the first things I talked about my therapist was about all this. And when I came out to my family and told her about this, she said, "You look happier. There's a shift in your demeanor and your tone." And I think that is really beautiful. To hear someone tell you that, and that's what you want a good therapist to do. I would recommend you seek out a therapist that does support LGBTQ rights. It's not often that you find one that doesn't. Preferably someone with knowledgeable about that stuff. She wasn't the most knowledgeable about those things, but she was opening to listening, and she can recognize changes within me, and that was a good sign. And she was a good therapist. I fortunately can't see her anymore due to being on new insurance and things like that. It sucks, but I was able to recognize, okay, this is really what I need to do because of that. And so I recommend doing that first. But as for the first 3 days of all this, I will say there are 3 things I noticed, and one of them's a little bit TMI, so bear with me here. 4 things I noticed. Day 1, I noticed I'm calmer. Like, I'm in a better mood. Also, now part of that is just being relieved that I'm on this medication, because I'd fought so long to get on this medication, and this is the first stop part of my journey, right? Coming out doesn't mean anything if you don't. I mean, I guess there's people who just socially transition. They don't take hormones. They don't do surgeries, right? And that's perfectly fine. You do you. But for me, I knew if I didn't do the hormones, I wasn't going to feel right within myself. Also, I think once my family sees that I'm serious and they went through that, maybe they'll be more understanding. It would be nice. We'll see how it goes, but it's the thing. So I started, so I was just calmer and happier. And like I said, part of that is just being on it. But even the last 2 days, I've been calmer and happier. Now, testosterone does tend to make you more worked up. And so, that's true. So I'm sure that plays into it. But I feel more level-headed, where I was filled with so much anxiety. And not that anxiety is gone, but it's clearer. And there's less of me arguing with myself in here about various different things and topics and things. And so it's so much easier to breathe and just be me. And I've just been really happy about that. Next, the second day, I will tell you, they told me I'm going to pee a lot, and I was not prepared for how much I was going to have to pee. Because I won't say too TMI, but all this is shrinking down here. That's what's happening. And so you need to pee a lot more. And one of the things I've read about hormones is you have to really take care of your caffeine intake. And the caffeine intake in me is a lot because I drink a lot of soda. So I'm trying to lay off the soda and also just be more healthier. And so like when I'm going so what I just started doing is drinking more water, and when you drink more water, you have to pee. So it's like two levels of like I need to go. And then last night was really bad. I made tea for myself before I went to bed, and I went to the bathroom like 10 times. I had such a hard time sleeping, and then the other part, I'll be honest, is like because of what's going on down there, my dick hurts. I have my bottom surgery. Yeah, or not even sure if I want to. That's a story for another time. But I wasn't sure. Like I even had to ask ChatGPT just double check. I knew that was gonna be a little sore down there, but anything could be that sore. I had to ask it like, "Hey, is this normal?" So I was literally like sitting on the toilet trying to go, and then it'd be like nothing coming out, but it's so sore there, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's normal." I was like, "Okay, that makes my life a lot easier." So then you go to the like next part of it, which is that like the third day, which is that I've had the migraines today. Like the migraines are bad. Um, like I had a really bad one that got so bad that I came home from work today and I just like threw up and then I passed out, went to bed for like 3 hours. I literally I must have like come home at work from 3:30 and I woke up at like 6. That's what I felt today. So that's kind of what I'm feeling. The other thing I'm feeling, of course, is normal with any hormones. Like even puberty does this to you, right? I'm hungry a lot more. I kind of hate it being the hungry part of it because I'm not a person that like eats or snacks a lot, but right now I am. And I was literally like, I'm literally at work. I work at a movie theater and like they have snacks and food, and I'm literally looking at the movie menu, being like, "That looks good right now. I want that. I want that." And I'm like, "No!" I have to like tell myself no. So bad. I, I don't know. It's kind of funny when you think about it, but I'm literally watching that, going, "I should not eat." But but now one thing I'm gonna work on this week is making sure I like pack lunches with me when I go to work because I'm hungry all the time now. And even like um yesterday, I don't like spaghetti that much, so when we have spaghetti in my house, I'm like whatever. But I literally ate the whole fucking plate like in 2 minutes. And I was tempted to get another plate. I didn't end up doing it because I wasn't that hungry. But like, I was tempted to, and I've never been tempted to. And also, I've never eaten it all that fast. Like, so it's like one of those things of like, I'm hungry a lot more. And I guess I just worry about it because one of the things that before I started the hormones, I was more stressed out than I am right now. And I've noticed like there was a little bit of belly forming here. And one of the things the hormones do is they redistribute your belly fat to like your like thighs and your hips. And I always worry, I'm like, am I gonna get a really big belly before it starts doing any of that? Because that doesn't really start happening till like later in the process. I'm like I said, I'm only on my first 3 months dosage, so we'll see how it goes. But like, I thought that shit was crazy how much I needed to go, and just like, it's bad. So I really am like watching that all that closely. The other thing I will say is like one of the nice things is I thought I'd have to go to the doctor more often about this stuff. So they're very accommodating for you. What they told me is like, okay, so we're gonna start you on a low dosage, and then we will find one you're comfortable with later on as you go through this, and which is really great. But they gave me uh, these pills from um, now, like I got them on January 16th. I have enough till April 16th, and and then and that's just my reminder to go back, get blood work done, make sure I'm good. If I want to up the dosage, we could talk about that, and we go through that process, and that's really sweet. And I'm loving that. So simple. I'm loving how simple it is, right? Because I feel like when you're trying to do all this, there is no like handbook that anybody gives you. Even at the doctor's office, there's not a handbook. Like they go through the stuff, but there's not like a handbook. Everyone's experiences are different, so that makes and all this stuff. It seems a lot more scary, but then when you actually go through the process of doing it, it's really not that scary. It's really fulfilling. And, you know, I'm trying to like be in a good mood and take care of myself and just be happy. So I think if this is something that you want to do, definitely I recommend it if this is what feels right to you. Like I said, talk to a therapist first. I don't take some random chick on the internet's advice, right? Especially since I just started it. So maybe next week I'll be like crying my eyes out in the video, be like, I can't do this anymore, which is not gonna happen. But like, you get what I mean. It's I've been on it for 3 days, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But I want to make this video kind of documenting everything. They also say it's really important you document everything, which I think a lot of that is because this is a journey, and it's really nice to see how far you've come as a person. Literally, like whether that be videos or pictures of yourself and what's happened to you body wise. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention I noticed change is my skin. So my skin is less oily. It's not actually softer because that takes some time. So like I'm feeling my skin and I'm like, man, it's so soft than it used to be. And it's like the kind of soft that like if someone else felt my skin, they wouldn't notice because they don't live in my skin. So it's not noticeable softness. Um, so I don't know. I'm really enjoying all that. Anything else I want to mention? I'm trying to think. Is there something else I should mention? I think that's it. Um, oh, also it's easier to shave. So I have really bad facial hair. My facial hair grows back like a motherfucker, like really bad. Like literally, I shave 3 times a day, and I noticed because my skin is smoother, less oily, it's less rough on my face. So like it comes off a lot cleaner, makes it easier to cover it up with makeup, uh, be- because it all just comes off a lot cleaner. So that is really great. Because I know one of the annoying things about facial hair is it you do see a slow, um, not sloth, that's not a word. You do see a slowing of the growing of the facial hair, but that takes months, if not years, to really notice any major effects of that. And so what happens is now that I'm shaving, at least it's easier to come off. And that's really sweet. That does mean I feel like you do have to be a little extra careful because like if the razor can nick you a little bit easier because your skin's a little bit softer, so you have to be a little bit more careful, but you still have to be careful when you're using a razor in general. Uh so that's really nice. But yeah, I'm going to make videos documenting all this every week going into it. If you have any questions for me about it, ask me in the comment section. I will try to mention it in the next video, um, or at least address it. But yeah, this has been a great experience so far, and I'm very happy and very satisfied. Yeah, let me know your thoughts.